Hey, Jessica.
Oh, wow.
I just got wasted for 10 seconds of my life, and now I'm sober. Don't you wish you had that kind of control like I do?
I just wasted.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sadie Hawkins Pod.
Hello.
Are you done messing with your pop screen?
Pop screen isn't in the right spot.
Hello. Welcome to the show.
How's it going, everybody? My phone's about to die. I need to charge it. I don't want to knock your computer over. Be very careful of me. Be very careful of what I do.
Okay. Alrighty.
So welcome back to the podcast.
Top of the show business?
We do have top of the show business.
Oh.
Don't trust this computer because it's not my computer. I plugged it into Jessica's. Let's see. There are voicemails this week.
Nice.
So, since we're doing a song this week that's 10 seconds long, should we just call it there? Just make this episode
10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean...
We've already failed,
but like... Get out now while the getting's good? No,
I mean, maybe. I have weirdly more deep dive stuff than I thought that I would.
Oh, okay. Well, here we have some voicemails. So let's play this. And this is not from the usual voicemail group.
Hey, Danny, Jess. It's Connor again. So I'm probably in the minority of people that really enjoy Collapsible Lung as a whole. I definitely didn't like it very much when I first heard it, and I actually pre-ordered it on iTunes back in the day, and That's My Jam was the only song you got before the album released. So I was, like, horrified because that song is the worst.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I cannot imagine pre-ordering. I mean, first of all, I'm sorry to Connor because he does like Collapsible Lung, but like if the first song I ever heard off of Collapsible Lung was That's My Jam, I mean, really... I guess technically you can only go up from there because That's My Jam is the absolute worst song off that album.
Right. But it
is worse than Gloria.
I wonder if anyone also heard that and thought, because last week I got confused between Terminals, which is the Owl City-esque bonus track on Forget, and I got that confused with That's My Jam. So I wonder if anyone heard That's My Jam and was like, oh, okay, this is a weird, like, super poppy thing, but this is just the bonus track. Like Terminals, this is just a little standout, I'm sure, right, from what the rest of the album is gonna be.
Summertime. Oh, I can't. I just can't. It sounds like a Lonely Island song.
You want to do that song next week?
I do not like it. Oh.
But I also think it's supposed to be the worst. Like, I think that's completely on purpose, and it's just a Matt Thiessen, Owl City. Haha. Really funny. But anyway, Disaster. Have lots of thoughts about Disaster and the album and all of those things. But Disaster is actually one of my favorite songs on that album, personally. Like, I get some very Beatles vibes from it, personally. I also think it's really, like, classic silly for Relient K. Like, I literally laughed out loud the first time I heard all the horns come blaring in on the verse. But in regards to the whole, like, story album Collapsible Lung debate thing, I think that entire concept is kind of weird and doesn't make sense, especially if it's supposed to be a follow-up to Forget. Because if this was a follow-up to Forget and Not So Down, it would mean that the narrator didn't even learn his lesson at the end of the album, which makes Forget and Not So Down, like, just pointless. But I've had another theory/idea thing about Collapsible Lung since shortly after it came out, and several different things factor into this theory, some of which you guys started going into on the episode. One is the commercial success of Forget and Not So Down. While Forget is widely regarded amongst Relient K fans as their best album, I'm pretty sure it got, like, essentially no radio play at all compared to and Five Score. I think I might have heard Forget and Not So Down, the title track, like, play on the radio maybe one time ever. And along with that fact, Relient K had been touring for a decade at that point in time, obviously, and recognized in plenty of circles as a Christian band and kind of claimed by the Christian music industry and Christian radio. And, like, that's just a lot of years to have, like, real, like, human experiences with no outlet to talk about them because of the squeaky clean image they have to uphold for Christian audiences because, you know, the Christian music industry is kind of garbage like that.
That's true, because I'm reminded of the time at a Soul Fest in early 2000s. I've told this story when I started talking to Matt Thiessen about the movie, I've already forgotten the title of it. Not How High.
Half-Baked?
Half-Baked. And I started talking to him about the movie Half Baked, and then I was like, then I suddenly started feeling guilty, like, oh, we're at a Christian festival. Maybe I'm gonna get Matt Thiessen in trouble. People are gonna go to the message boards and talk about how Matt Thiessen has seen a drug movie.
But my thought ultimately was that maybe this is like a confessions album of sorts, and I'll explain that statement before people jump down my throat. Like, I feel like Thiessen has had hundreds of song ideas over the last 20 years that he couldn't record because of the Christian audience that they had.
I bet Thiessen has had hundreds of girlfriends over the years.
He said hundreds of songs.
I said what I said.
Well, I'm sure he did have hundreds of girlfriends over the years, too.
So after all of the time and emotional energy he put into Forget for it to not have the kind of, like, wide-reaching commercial success the previous albums did, I think he and Hoops were like, screw it. We have a back catalog of ideas we've never gotten to do because of, like, our audience and everything, so let's just bring some of our friends in and just experiment for this next album. And to clarify that, like, I don't think Thiessen is, like, success motivated by any means. Like, I don't think Relient K cares too much if their albums, like, sell a ton.
No, I mean, in two collapsible long episodes back, I started getting on the thing which we didn't talk about with Disaster of, like, everyone criticizes Collapsible Lung for being their big pop sensibility, like, top 40 record-reaching album, and yet it didn't have the push and the marketing that ever would have allowed it to be that.
Yeah, no.
Like, it was a Goatee Records album. Like, it wasn't on CD in a time when Whole Foods still had CDs at the front, and, like, you know, people still bought music on CD a little bit. Definitely the top 40 albums are bought on CDs in 2013. So I'm like, yeah, there is this weird thing, and Connor's talking about it in a different way, but it just reminds me of it. It's like, yeah, I guess that you could say they're not success bound, and, like, this is really, Collapsible Lung really was in its pop way just what Matt Thiessen wanted to do, because the album didn't have any chance of actually being on the radio. I mean, on the radio in that way.
Right.
Because it just clearly didn't have the marketing push. It was given this underground marketing push of only being on vinyl, you know? So I kind of see where Connor's going, and I agree in a slightly different way in my little tangent there.
I also don't think that Matt would just stop making albums if they didn't sell well, obviously, because they made an album after Collapsible Lung. But I also don't necessarily think that every one of the experiences in the songs on Collapsible Lung is necessarily an experience that Thiessen personally had, but it could have been. But I feel like the come down from Forget and Not Slow Down left the band in a really unique position to do whatever they wanted, so they did. And then they had fun with it, which is all they really cared about in the end. And following that train of thought, I think Disaster is probably the most clear representation of the tension of, I'm a human being who experiences human things, but have a traditional Christian image to uphold, which would explain why the line that everyone hates happens in such close proximity to them getting home from church. But yeah, those are all my thoughts. It's all speculation, all conjecture. I have no evidence for any of those things. But yeah, I just feel like Thiessen and Hoops probably had a lot of ideas that they couldn't write about or record because of their audience, and so they finally took the opportunity to do that with Collapsible Lung, and especially Disaster. That's it. I'll talk to you guys later.
So what do you think of that?
Yeah, maybe. Because I'm just wondering, though, like, why not reach out a little more? April agrees. Why not reach out a little more with 5 Score, which, you know, gets that boost to, you know, Capitol.
Right.
And has, like, you know, clearly they're trying to put out a slightly more poppy album. So why not put some more of those suggestive themes in there if they're kind of, you know, growing or getting away from that?
I would say because that's still 2005. No, 7.
Yeah.
So, and it's the album we're talking about today. 2007. So, they were still, like, had that one foot in the Christian festival market and one foot in Warped Tour. They couldn't, I don't think that would have been the album where you could start singing about perfectly normal human emotions that are seen as sinful to the Christian market. That's not the time to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah. It kind of makes sense when you talk about 2013.
Right.
It's like that's like the dark ages of the music industry, and like everyone's basically figuring out what can they do to keep making music, to keep making a living off of music. And a lot of groups, probably Relient K, were just like, we're not making April disagrees with me on this one. But they're probably like, maybe to Connor's point, like it's 2013, dark ages of the music industry. Let's just do what we want, because there's no like guaranteeing that, you know, this can sustain
Right. Yeah.
an actual living for us at this point.
Yeah.
I hear Mike Herrera on his podcast talk about like those dark ages of the internet all the time. Those dark ages of the music industry all the time. And
I think we're in the dark ages of the internet.
But that's when like Tom and Yuri left MXPX for a while, and like Mike Herrera was just doing what he could, and he was pursuing other projects like Tumbledown and stuff, because it's like there's no guaranteeing tomorrow as far as a career in the music industry in the early 2010s. So just do what you can and what you're comfortable with, and hope that success follows. And so maybe that's where they were by 2013 with Collapsible Lung. I mean, we know that like John Schneck said that the reason why John and Ethan all pretty much, well, the reason John and John left the band at least is because no one wanted to tour anymore the way they had been.
Right.
So, or no one could. So, yeah. We have one more voicemail, and this is from jolly old Australia. We got our first Australian voicemail.
Nice.
Hey guys, this is Chris. I'm in Australia right now, but I'm glad you guys enjoyed my alternate version of Disaster, the deep fried sexy lyric. Glad you guys enjoyed it.
So you remember last week we played,
Yeah.
it was one of the few derivative YouTube works of Disaster. This is the guy who made it.
Nice.
And he's going to tell us the origin of that video, because you thought I played it and you were like, you made this, didn't you, Danny? And I'm like, nope, no, I didn't.
Nice.
Oh, and he's in Australia, but he's not
Sorry.
native Australian, apparently.
I'm getting hockey updates. I apologize.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Good guess on the origin story, but it's actually, I'm part of the Relient K Discord server, which is, everyone's invited to join. If you search on Reddit, it's pretty easy to find. But we were trying to think of rules for the server, and the question came up of, oh man, what do we do about swearing? Like, you know, didn't really know how lenient to be, but then one guy was like, oh, well, we can just say if it would sound out of place in a Relient K song, then don't say it. So that was the rule.
And that's our rule with the podcast.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that makes perfect sense to me.
Which then prompted us to stretch the rules a bit, and before you know it, saying sexy came sort of a running joke in the server, and there was one day where I said, oh gosh, guys, look, I found an alternate version of Disaster. It's crazy, and that's what you guys played. So just all in good fun. But anyway, I enjoy the show. Keep on keeping on. Take it easy. Bye. See ya.
So, actually, and second to, I mean, coincidence that I'm bringing up the Mike Herrera podcast twice, but when I started MXPX memes, I felt the same way. I'm like, can I swear in MXPX memes?
Right.
And I didn't for the first year. And then it was after listening to the Mike Herrera podcast for a while, I'm like, now I feel, because they swear there. So I'm like, now I feel comfortable. And this is before MXPX's new album with a couple of like PG swears.
Right.
I was like, I feel comfortable using any swears that they would use on his podcast. And now I'm like totally, mostly uncensored with MXPX memes, because that's what the MXPX crowd is like. But for us, we were like, we don't really know what Relient K fans are like, so let's just keep it clean and avoid that E. We want the whole family to gather around the Vitrola on holiday evenings and listen to Sadie Hawkins' pod.
However, we can say sexy as much as we like, because that's family friendly. It's in a Relient K song.
Yeah. And God gave us sex. God created sex. I'm one of those now.
Well, thank you for your call, Chris.
Well, there's one more quick one.
Nice.
Chris is going to waste 16 seconds of our lives with this follow-up voicemail.
Hey, it's Chris from Australia again. I should mention that working with Australians every day, that attempt at a Australian accent is especially painful for me. So thanks for that. See ya.
Well, I can't get Denny on the phone right now because he's in bed down there. But you got to take this up with Denny. If you haven't heard our Boomerang episode, the first time Denny came on the show, go check it out, Chris. Denny's a good friend of the podcast. He hosts a Newsboys Song by Song podcast, and he sometimes turns up around the house and not during the podcast.
He does.
And we might have a crossover with an Australian podcast soon. I've been talking to Punko's Pod, so we might do our crossover with them soon.
That's right.
And I'm sure they'd love to hear from Denny.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure they would not. Maybe they would. Australians have a good sense of humor.
Do they? I've never heard that. I'm just kidding. Of course they do. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So, anyway.
I felt like you were trying to trap me in something.
Yeah. So, we are talking about Crayons Can Melt on Us for All I Care today.
That's right. So now, how did you just say that, Danny?
Crayons?
Crayons.
Crayons.
So that's the debate. Well, it's not. I mean, that's the one debate that I wrote. It's my only note for this episode. Do you say crayons or crayons? Because I know it's supposed to be crayons, but I always say crayons.
I hear the same thing when you say that. Say it again.
Crayons versus crayons.
Crayons or crayons. I say crayons.
But you say it the right way. I say it the wrong way.
Okay. I never noticed. They sound the same right here.
Crayon versus crayon. It's just, I don't know. It does not roll off the tongue to say crayon. It doesn't sound right to me to say crayon. Mm-hmm. I just say crayon. I also grew up in the South. So when I went to preschool and elementary school, I was in Atlanta. And so most people had a Southern accent, so no one was saying crayon down there. They were saying crayon, so crayons.
So we picked this song this week when I'm breaking our cardinal rule of trying not to do the same album within 4 calendar weeks. Because we just did a 5-score song, Bite My Tongue, and now we're back.
Well, we had a special request.
We had a special request from John Schneck to do this song this week. Because I put a thing out there, I'm like, on Twitter, I said, we haven't even picked a song. And he said, do crayons. I'm like, okay, the boss has spoken.
That's right.
Corporate has sent down a memo. So here we are talking about the same
Giving Brady a run for his money.
Oh, that's right. Even though Brady's the actual money bags. John Schneck just owns a part of us in equity or something. I don't know. How does that work? So, obviously it's this is a joke song, and it's been a joke on this podcast of when we get to this song, what are we going to talk about?
Right.
I have some stuff to talk about, but obviously it's like a joke song on one of their more serious albums. Certainly their more serious album up to this point. Right? Like, I mean, I guess Forget Not Slow Down is their most serious album, but that comes after. But when you think of Relient K and especially the youth group years of the first 3 albums, and you think of the goofiness, you think of the twee nature of their artwork, and you think of like the cartoons, you know what I mean? You think of the cartoons, yes. And you think of like the artwork on the Christmas album with the construction paper, and you think of like all the jokey, like sort of like crossover, you know, like Wes Anderson meets Napoleon Dynamite aesthetic of those early years. And then you think of 5-score, there's a clear, I mean, it was leading up to it with has a more mature tone overall, but it still has that sense of humor, and it still has that artwork with the flower and stuff, which is like getting towards serious and stuff with, you know, the clouds. Like, it's almost like with they were like, okay, we were goofy, we're getting a little serious, and then with 5-score, it's just like barely any sense of humor. But then there's this one little 10-second nugget in the middle, like towards the end of the album, like more than halfway through the album. It's like, here's a real goofy song. And it's almost, and they had to do this song with Mark Lee Townsend, right? Because we, you know, that like, who is the producer? I forget now. The producer on the rest of the album?
Howard Benson.
Oh, right. So, like, most of the album is produced by Howard Benson, but then you got Deathbed, which, you know, Howard Benson said, I don't know how to record this song. He's like, this is just, like, too much. I don't know how to do this. So they go to Mark Lee Townsend, who they trust, to do this thing that Matt Thiessen wants to pull off. Well, at the same time, I'm like, what was the impetus for Townsend to be involved in this song? For Townsend to be involved in this song was Howard Benson. Like, did he also look at Crayons Can Melt on Us and also say, I don't know what to do with this song. Like, this song's too goofy and silly.
And Pleading the Fifth.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Those three were produced by Mark Lee Townsend.
And they are like, yeah, and they clearly are all...
Howard Benson was just like, I'm not touching any of this weird stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I will do the straightforward things. Any of this other goofy nonsense you want in here, find someone else.
Right, go to your dad. It's like Howard Benson was the mom, and Mark Lee Townsend was the dad.
Go ask Dad.
Go ask Dad if you want to do the goofy songs and the deathly serious 11-minute magnum opus. So... that's what this is on this album. That's what I think of on this album, is like, this is their least comedic, this is their least humorous album, and then you've got this song stuck in there, and so it's cute. It's cute. And obviously this is a song that, I mean, I'm telling you obviously because I learned this, but why would you? This is a song that like continue to inspire goofy youth group kids with no time on their hands, stuck inside, homeschool kids stuck inside.
With no time on their hands or too much time on their hands? Too much time
on their hands, because we talk about it for sure when you find FMVs for the first 3 albums and like kids with like nothing else to do, so they shoot crazy fan music videos to songs on the first 3 albums. Well, this is a song that has... There's got to be hundreds. A big comparison to last week when there were only 3 fan works for all of the song Disaster. I stopped counting. There's literally got to be hundreds of fan videos, because like you can throw it together in seconds.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not just slideshows, anime music videos, fan music videos, lip syncs, tons of vocal covers, like so much stuff. And
no TikToks though.
Oh, you didn't find any TikToks? That is TikToks. Surprising. This would be a very good TikTok song.
Yeah.
Because what else? TikTok, TikTok and seconds kind of goes in with the theme. Clocks and seconds.
Oh no! I just accidentally deleted my notes.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no! Recently deleted. Oh no! Bring it back. Bring it back. Recover. Boom. Okay, we're good. We're good now.
All right. Do you still have all your notes from every podcast?
I do.
We need to put those in the Google Drive for all of the patrons.
That's right.
Patreon.com/Sadie Hawkins Pod.
Yes.
Let's do it, because mine are on Google Drive, so mine have always been up on the Patreon, but let's get yours up there too.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know what else needs to, once we're done with complex infrastructure known as the female mind, needs to go on Patreon, maybe?
What?
Reading some fanfic.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And we do have a fanfic this week in the deep dive. We have a fanfic by the same title, Crayons Can Melt on Us. Yeah, I consent. We're good. Archive of our own. We know each other. We're friendly. This is a Lily/James Potter fanfic pairing.
Okay.
You were drunk and rambling on about how nice the angle of my elbows are at this music festival, but I can't find your friends and I've lost mine. Want to spend the rest of the night getting drunk and dancing together?
What? Are they going to see the Weird Sisters? Like,
that's the summary.
Or that Billy Idol, that wizard Billy Idol that's in, like, I think the 4th movie. That's the worst. That's one of the worst moments in all the Harry Potter movies. I mean, maybe the worst in the best way, where it's like, "Oi, I'm Wizard Billy Idol." And then he sings casting spells with myself or whatever. It was so bad.
I'm trying to figure out who they're going to see. I'm just kind of scrolling through this surprisingly long one shot.
We're going to this Muggle music festival.
Oh no, I don't have my VPN on right now. Maybe that's why Archive of Our Own was like, wait, stop. Are you sure? Who are you? Oh wow, we're going on about the elbows now. I got to that part. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. There's just a lot of talking with the friends and everything. Maybe they don't go into specifics. I'll have to give you a follow up on that later, because right now I'm trying to finish this podcast in time for Love Island.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you got 7 minutes. We're gonna do it. I mean, we might be taking a break.
Oh no, I closed my notes again. Okay, so we also have some stuff from Flickr. So remember how we had different photo projects a few weeks ago? This one is from Laura Jane _photography. And it's like a little stop motion thing. And it's called Crayons Can Melt on Us for All I Care. There's over a foot of snow outside and I'm kind of bored. Not like I'd really be doing much of anything if there was no snow. I think it's just more the fact that I can't go anywhere if I wanted to. So of course I had to make a dumb stop motion video.
This is barely stop motion. It's just a bunch of pictures of her.
Yeah, she's just kind of smiling and
it's just
shrugging.
Okay.
And it's just, they're all close-up shots of a lady.
Yeah, it's all just like shoulders and up, like medium shots of her making goofy faces. It's just basically like it's like a 3 frame per second video of her mugging for the camera.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, it's cute, but it barely counts as stop motion.
Well, aren't you judgy?
I have a real stop motion video we can watch later.
Oh, wow, okay.
So do you feel like we gave the lyrics a fair shake? Did you want to check Genius?
Well, I don't think you're going to find much on Genius because it's a little too early for Genius.
Oh, you're right. So what about song meanings? Did you look at song meanings?
Song meanings I don't think actually popped up, or maybe it did and I just kind of went over it. Oh no. Oh, that's my alarm to tell me that it's time to put on CBS.
Well, you got 5 minutes in real life. So let's take a look. The oldest comment, 13 years ago, Lloyd45, said, "Can someone please help me out with the meaning to this song? I don't know what to do. I prayed about it, fasted, meditated, and the meaning of this song just doesn't jump out to me for some reason."
It's amazing.
This song, Slater, well, wait.
Is this another Sullivan sibling by any chance who wrote the last comment?
Maybe. Lloyd, what's that? I forgot his.
I just said it. Sullivan.
I don't know, because I'm looking at a really weird name on the screen right now, so I can't. Lloyd Sullivan, I'm sure, was 45 at the time, and that's why his username says Lloyd45. You threw me for a loop, because I'm looking at this name, and I figured it out. It's S7 Alter 04. So Season 7 Alter 04 says, "This song is really a deeper insight into how even the simplest of things can distract from a single moment in time, but can really add up eventually and will begin to come back and haunt you as you realize that your procrastination has led you to the point of no return."
Oh my gosh.
They are hoping to make a political point as well as express their feelings to the audience in hopes to improve the way people manage their time. But no, really, the first time I listened to this, I thought it was hilarious. Relient have some of the funniest little tracks between songs. He's joking, or she's joking, or they're joking. This is a common theme, though, now that I think about it. As much as this is a 10-second joke song, the idea of, like, using your time wisely is a common Matt Thiessen theme.
That is true.
So this isn't just out of left field, out of nowhere. Like, maybe that's not what he was thinking of.
I was going to say, do you think that was actually the intention?
No, but I feel like if we made a good Relient K Wikipedia and you have the songs about time management, of which there are many, this could technically be put into that category. So the only thing that I never really... Did you find anything about what the title means?
No.
Crayons can melt on us. Maybe I should have asked John Schneck if he knew, since he requested it. We don't know. We'll find out. Does anyone out there know what this... I mean, I don't know if anyone has song... It does sound kinky. It always sounded weird to me because, like, how do crayons melt onto a person? I have videos about what you can do to melt crayons to make new crayons. But, like, how do crayons melt onto a person? Because from all intents and purposes, it seems like you need, like, a good couple of 100 degrees to get a crayon melting. Like, crayons don't melt easily.
Right.
You know, cray paws, those melt easily. Peanut butter cups, those melt easily. But crayons don't melt onto people. If a crayon is melting onto you, it's hundreds of degrees. It's
right.
It's harder to...
I found a lot of crayon melting projects.
Right. I didn't look up the degrees it takes. Like 451 is the temperature at which books burn. But what's the temperature at which crayons melt? That's a good fan fiction. Fahrenheit 451, but with the cast of Relient K. And the temperature at which crayons melt.
Patreon.com/Sadie Hawkinspot.
So my point is, like, if crayons melt onto a person, you're going to get, like, third degree. Is third degree the lesser one? Third degree means...
No, that's like...
Third degree is worse than
right?
first degree, right?
Yes.
This is a good thing to learn as well. So many things are coming up as we discuss this, and your show starts in 1 minute, so we're going to take a little break.
He just does not want me to watch
So
it.
here's what we'll do, because this is going to be a short episode. We'll take a break. We have a new pre-roll, because we have a new patron to thank, and we'll be back, and I'll discuss at what temperature crayons melt.
Nice.
And what's the difference between first, second, and third degree burns. We definitely want to talk about that. And then we'll be back with covers and fan stuff and live stuff.
We'll be right back.
If you'd like to interact with Sadie Hawkins Pod, please do. We have a voicemail line, which is 402-95-SADIE.
You can also send us an email at sadiehawkinspod@gmail.com.
And check out our Twitter and Instagram, which are both at Sadie Hawkins Pod.
We'd also like to take this moment to thank our patrons who have signed up at patreon.com/sadiehawkinspod.
We've got Brady, David, Tucker, This Might Be a Podcast, Owen, Jimmy Eat Pod, Roxanne, Samantha, and Helen.
If you'd like to join our Patreon, we're discussing most of the K is for Karaoke tracks like Justin Bieber's Baby and Cake's The Distance. We've done some random stuff like a video of us playing Animal Crossing and discussing our summertime playlists.
Oh, and we're reading through the entirety of the Relient K related book, Complex Infrastructure, known as The Female Mind. And hey, if you thought there wasn't a Relient K book that makes a short bus joke, well, sign up and learn how wrong you were.
There are $2, $5, and $10 levels where you can get those bonus apps and extras like merch.
And if you have a special someone in your life, think of giving them the gift of Sadie Hawkins Pod. So, first degree burns is the lesser of the burns. Third degree is, of course, now that I say it out loud, now that I've looked it up, yes, I remember third degree burns is the worst. First degree is the lesser, the one you can handle with just regular first aid.
It's the opposite of murder.
It is.
He's like pointing at me like,
I'm pointing.
Oh.
I figured you out. You said the word murder. You must be guilty. So, and crayons melt at around 200 degrees. So, sounds like first or even second degree burns to me. So if you think, oh, crayons can melt on me for all I care, well, once it starts burning your skin...
Maybe that's the point.
Oh.
Maybe you're just so over it.
Is this like a mental
You can't
health,
be apathetic
self-harm
anymore. Oh, I don't know.
sort of thing? Like how I misinterpreted... What was that song that was about...
What was the last song we did off of...
Let It All Out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, that song's not about what you think it's about.
No. It's so obviously about, like, Calvary and, you know, Christ's blood and all that. But when I was thinking of that lyric, I was like, is this about self-harm? No, it's a Christian song. So you had some more things to read before we get to my stuff.
I love how you very loudly clunked your bourbon down on the table as you were like, so, what do you got? Thrown it back to you.
Tonight I'm drinking Buffalo Trace. I bought my first bottle of Buffalo Trace.
So we have...
It's me knocking the...
Because our neighbors are being super loud. During our break, our neighbors decided
it's
to
10 p.m.
have a
and
party.
it sounds like they're hanging up a picture.
Yeah.
But I knocked my pop screen with my phone.
And then you just threw your phone on the table.
No, I actually dropped my phone.
So much noise. So we have another Flickr thing where we've got a picture. And this one is very pretty. It's got kind of like a rainbow thing going on. It's a woman with bare feet jumping over a bench in a field or in a park. And this is from Dancing Pear Cosplay. Bench Monday 125. Crayons can melt on us for all I care. And they said, Crayons Can Melt on Us for All I Care by Relient K, one of the greatest songs in the history of ever. I hope you are all having a marvelous Monday and have an awesome rest of the week. Smiley face.
Nice. I mean, it's just like, it's almost like they just took a cool picture and they were like, I don't have a title for it.
Yeah,
what's a random song I like?
There's a lot of pretty different colors going on in here.
Yeah.
It's nice. Good stuff. There's like the lady has it's a lady jumping and over this bench and she's got like a cape on, a yellow cape.
She's like a regular Rocky. Like Rocky jumped a park bench. He did. It's an amazing...
I just like how you're like, he did!
In the first movie, I think it's in the first movie, he jumps a park bench and it's like, oh, you know what? I now remember what it's from. The Angry Video Game Nerd. Early in his career... He had a video where he went around Philadelphia trying to find all the locations from the movie, right. Rocky. And he was it took him forever to find the park bench or something that Rocky leaps over feet first.
Gotcha.
Sweet.
Right on. Well, there's also a blog.
Crayons Can Melt on Us for all I care.
There's a blog/website called crayonscanmelton.us. And you just spilled tea all over the table. That when I asked you to spill the tea, Danny, I didn't mean that kind.
I don't know what that even is. That a euphemism?
It's what the kids say. They're like, "Hey, you spill the tea. What's the haps?"
Is it really?
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, it's. I'm hip. I'm with it. So Crayons Can Melt on Us.
Yeah, we're talking about Flickr accounts. Of course we're hip.
Only if it made me LOL. And then it's just like a blog. They've got some stuff from Star Trek in here, and some Spider-Man, and some Parks and Rec, and some SpongeBob memes, and Julia Roberts, and they're not quite as hip as us over here at Sadie Hawkins.
Right. Are you saying Julia Roberts isn't as vital as she once was in the cultural zeitgeist?
That would be what I am implying. And then, yeah, we've got a crayon melting project to go with your whole thing of how it has to be 250 degrees or whatever you said in order for crayons to melt.
The thing I said, it was like a WikiHow, and it said set the oven between 200 and 275.
And so this is really pretty. They just lined up all the colors, and they actually used a blow dryer to melt the crayons. And it's actually a pretty project. It looks really nice. Maybe we'll post this on the socials.
Okay. Well,
it's looking good.
Sort of on that same beat, I found this YouTube video where a lady describes making new crayons out of old crayons.
Oh.
And so she's going to melt some crayons down and turn them into new crayons.
Hi everyone, it's Emmy. Welcome back to another Kiddo Craft. Today I'm going to show you how to make these.
They're like little hockey puck crayons.
Yeah, I've seen stuff like this before.
Because everything I saw when I was researching why and how and why you would melt crayons, everyone said like you melt crayons into a muffin pan, a muffin tin, and then you basically make these hockey puck-esque circular crayons.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And so,
my mom used to do stuff like this all the time.
So this YouTube channel is Emmy Maid. Emmy Maid. And she's teaching us about how to make stuff.
So my boy had a big pile of crayons that were all stubby and such, so we remelted them. And all you need are crayons, a little bit of heat, and a muffin tin. Alright, so I'll show you how it's done. So begin by lightly oiling your muffin tin. I'm just using a little mini muffin tin I found at a thrift store, but you can use silicone molds or whatever you like. Next, you're going to peel off the paper off your crayons, and I found this was a really fast way. Just take a razor blade and slice through the paper, and then the paper comes right off.
Yeah, it's quick if you don't mind you're losing your finger. That looked really dangerous.
Then you're going to chop up your crayons into pea-sized pieces, and for my son to do this, I gave him a little putty knife, and he was able to chop them into pieces as well.
They're like little carrot slices.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, son.
It's adorable.
They're like little carrot slices, he says.
Look like Reese's Pieces, or did they stop to have a snack?
Oh, what? No, I guess that's just what they look like.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Right on.
So talk about how you pronounce crayons. Say that again. How do you pronounce that, Candy?
Reese's Pieces?
Yeah, you don't say Reese's Pieces.
Why on earth would I say that?
You say crayons, but you don't say Reese's Pieces.
Crayons.
Because Reese's Pieces is the obnoxious, awful way for people to say.
That's like the aunt debate.
Right.
Where Danny's always said aunt and I've always said aunt. And I had a speech teacher who taught us that it is actually aunt.
They're probably a communist. Your speech teacher.
Wow.
So should we move on to live videos and stuff?
Let's do it. Do you know what this reminds me of? Oh,
What?
I was debating if I was going to mention this or not. One of my very early, like, goofy middle school Jessica movies that I made was really, when I was younger, I loved crayons and doing crayon drawings, and I also love the smell of crayons. Okay. And I made this, like, weird artsy black and white like movie of like me as a crayon connoisseur, and I'm like dragging the crayons across like underneath my nose. And
I saw one thing that said you could make crayons into lipstick.
Oh, I guess.
I mean, it was on the blog on the WikiHow when I was researching how to.
I mean,
melt
yeah,
crayons.
You could use this like a lip stain, and I probably would not do that. I guess they are for kids, so they're
kids like to
non-toxic.
pretend crayons are lipstick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dumb kids. So here's Relient K. They played this strangely that Manila Mall tour in 2013.
Yes.
Here he says someone requested this. But then I swear after this one we have another one from the same tour where he says again someone requested this. And I swear they're not the same mall because we have been confused by these 2013 Manila Mall shows.
Right.
Because all of these malls look the same and they're all just called Manila 2013, but they're actually 5 different malls, super malls they played.
Right.
So I don't know. Here's the first one uploaded.
I wonder how those Manila malls are doing now.
Oh, yeah. This one was uploaded by AFC Selite. AFC SELITE. Uploaded 6 years ago. This version of Crayons Can Melt on Us Live.
My crayon movie story wasn't that great. You can edit that out if you want.
No, it's
kind of boring.
No, this isn't. The episode's barely long enough. We can leave it in.
This song was requested. Someone play it. Just wasted.
Wow.
Yeah.
That one lady was losing her mind.
It's the best song ever. She literally screams over half the song. Like she couldn't enjoy the song at all because she was screaming over the entire thing.
Yeah.
So then here's a similar video again from Manila, but this has got to be different. This is different. Okay. Because here they play it again as the second to last, the penultimate song of the show, and then they launch into Be My Escape, and they did not go into Be My Escape in that last video. So here's a Manila again. them playing the song live. Oh, and check it out. When they play Crayons Can Melt on Us For All I Care and Be My Escape live together, the video's 4:20 long.
Woo!
Light them up if you got them.
10 seconds of your life. This is our last song. Thank you guys so much.
And that's it. It cuts in like half. I mean, it's already a 10-second song, and we missed the first 2 seconds.
It seems like a good thing to do. Just like if you are trying to, like, if you're taking a little too long setting something up on stage, and it's just like, here, we need like an extra 10 seconds, go. And like, Thiessen just goes blink on the keyboard and sings the song, and we're done.
Exactly. So since it didn't exist anywhere on the internet that I could find, I created the Nightcore version.
Nice.
Here it is.
I just wasted 10 seconds of your life.
But that only wasted 8 seconds of my life.
It did. I should have edited in my voice, going 8. 8. You'd have to be
Like
high.
you did with Sexy Back.
Oh, yeah. Early in Jessica and Mai's relationship, Sexy Back was on the radio. Justin Timberlake's Sexy Back was vitally a top 40 song at the time. And I went on Pirate Bay, it was hard to get it. I had to go on like Pirate Bay, or like, I think Oink's Pink Palace might have still been around, like some torrent site where I had to find the CD single of Sexy Back because it had the official karaoke track on it. And we're talking like 2007, right? 2007.
Yeah, I think it was 07. 07 or 08, maybe.
You couldn't just go on YouTube and find like every song uploaded to YouTube. No one had uploaded the official Sexy Back karaoke track. It was only on the CD single. So it's like, I'm either going to have to buy this thing or hunt on the internet in the pirate sphere. I found it so that what I could do was cut out when they go in Sexy Back, when they go, yeah, I edited it as me. Then I put it on a mixtape with a bunch of other songs.
And he just goes, yeah.
Yeah. They're like, bringing Sexy Back. And it's me going, yeah. Unfortunately, I've lost this original track.
This is very upsetting because, like, this would be a lot better if we could pair it with the song.
Right. But that's the kind of stuff that won Jessica's heart. Fool. I tricked you.
And then we sent it to your sister, and she was like,
No,
"This
she was
isn't funny."
she was in the car with us.
We played it for her. That was it.
My sister came to visit.
She did not think it was as funny as I did.
And she's like, "This is stupid." So just like the scene in Herd, there's another very like under the radar, barely around band called Crayons Can Melt on Us For All I Can, for all I care. Crayons can melt on me for all I can. So
That sounds like a philosophical debate topic.
Hold on now. So they uploaded their first demo called Summer Good Time in 2013. It says that they
Are you
have...
sure it wasn't in 99?
I don't understand. Is that a reference to something specific? Is that Summertime Girls, Summer So Slow? What is that, LFO? No? What is
my
it?
jam.
Oh, you know more about that song than I do. So, hold on one second. I just want to do a quick little on-the-fly research here.
Oh, shucks. I can't listen to that song anymore because I've switched to Spotify. Oh, darn.
So, okay. Oh, yeah, you know what? I thought so. Okay, so their Twitter's not around anymore. This band called Crayons Can Melt on Us For All I Care. They had this demo in 2013 on February 20th, 2013, and they're Japanese. I could tell there was definitely like an accent in the vocals here, but I couldn't tell, like it could be Italian for all I know. But apparently they're Japanese because looking at the things down here, I think this is the listing, the city they're from.
Sweet.
So here we go. 6 subscribers for the official Crayons Can Melt on Us For All I Care. This is their song, Summer Good Time.
That rocks.
This has a very Betty Rocket Records vibe.
I like it. I want to go like slam dance to this.
Yeah. Oh, now that I clicked into their channel, and yeah, I can see for sure, looking at their images at their
how many videos do they have?
Just 3.
Oh man.
7 years ago. So it doesn't look like Crayons Can Melt on Us. They should have cared a little bit more because they didn't keep going. Then they have another song called Remake Me. It Do What You Want With Me. And then they have another song called Konayaku. Nice. Konayaki. Those are the 3 songs you can get from official Crayons Can Melt Us for All I Care. All right, let's see. They still have a Tumblr page if it's still around. I didn't click the link and I've closed the window. So we should mention, of course, and this week we're having a guest. We're going to be talking to David Parke from Jimmy Eat Pod.
That's right.
And the reason we did that is because David recorded our outro song when we started, before we even started the podcast. I came up with the idea. I think so. I think we had it ready for the first episode. I'd have to go back and listen again. Maybe we got it a couple episodes in. That'd be good information to have before we started. But basically, and we'll talk about it.
Should I have done that as part of my deep dive?
No, it's fine. But I came up with the idea of like, oh, we should do Crayons Can Melt on Us for All I Care, because it's like, we're wasting your time. Our dumb podcast has wasted your time.
Yep.
So I know David Parke in real life, and I reached out to him, and is like, he's a very talented musician, and he records pop punk stuff and records music, and that's part of what he does for a living. I reached out to him, and he recorded 4 different, and we'll talk about this more when we talk to him on the show, but he recorded 4 different versions for us that we used 3 of them on our outro. And originally my idea was, and we used to do this, was every week we would sing new lyrics to the song and say, we just wasted an hour 20 of your life. We just wasted 87 minutes of your life. But in 2020, we've gotten really, really easy with that. Most of all, it's because, like, and this is happening today, we edit the show right up to when it's posted.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel like singing lyrics at the end.
Right.
So
we were switching back and forth. We're going to have to do it now. We're going to have to do it for this episode.
I mean, we could even hypothetically go back in, and people who've listened to the podcast as it comes out don't need to go back, but we could still, edit the RSS feed, the individual files, and add the song back in.
Oh, okay.
It's too late for the YouTube uploads, but we could do this retroactively. So I just wanted to play some versions of David Parke's things. People have heard these now at the end without the lyrics, but just to hear it, here's the version he gave us of the regular, like, straight ahead piano version.
What if David Parke is one of the piano dreamers?
I do mention the piano dreamers when I talk to him later, and he got kind of coy, and he was like, oh, yeah, those guys, right? Yeah, I hear they're nice. So then he recorded 2 punk versions, and what's funny is there's no other punk versions of this song. So we should actually get someone, I mean, we're not professional singers, I'm a very flat singer, so we should get someone to record official Vox for this punk version that David Parke did, and then we can upload it, and it would be the only
nice
pop punk version of the song that I know of to exist. So David Parke made 2 versions, and the changes are subtle, but basically he added some pick slides at the end. And in the first one, I don't know if anyone's ever noticed this, because I go back and forth between the 2 when I use the punk version at the end of the show, but in this first one, the punk slides are like kind of regular, like they're just in there. Mm-hmm. But in the second one, he adds a few extra ones like layered in, and they shift in the stereo. So here's the pick slide version that's not over the top. So now when the pick slides are just right up front, they're normal, but now here's the version where he added all this extra layering to the pick slides. It's like instead of just like one pick slide, or I think there might be 2 pick slides in the first version. He added an extra one, so it's like, and then they're actually sliding across the audio. They're sliding across the stereo mix. So I just wanted to point that out because we've had this song now for over a year, and I've never like pointed out the incredible. He put so much effort into it, and there are 2 different versions of his punk version. So I wanted everyone to know that.
I love it.
Yep. And so there's so many covers. There's so many covers. And you think for a 10-second song, no, you should. I think everyone should understand this. 10-second song, when you're doing the research, you're like, we just wasted. It starts to grate on me. It started to grate on me. Right. You know what I mean? Hearing that same. So by the end, not just with the covers, but also with the fan videos, by the end, I was starting to like. I had so many tabs open. I had like close to 80 tabs open, and I'm going through them. And towards the end, I started going. I would click and be like, anime music video close, RuneScape video close, Club Penguin video close. I wouldn't even bother with those. And then I would listen to like 1 second and just to hear if it's someone lip syncing, and it'd be like I'd hear we just close, because I'm like, no, it's too much of the same stuff over and over. But this one is not the same as everybody else's. This is Zeke Power.
Oh, nice.
Zeke Power's back, and he's got. Whoop. I'm gonna have to get used to this trying to play these back on the podcast. So here's Zeke Power playing. He just called it Crayons. He didn't even call it the full title. 4 years ago, he uploaded this version.
I just wasted 10 seconds of your life.
And then it ends with this weird thing where he reaches out to stop the camera, and it shows Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Interesting. Good stuff, though.
He made his because his covers are usually very sincere, but he added a little meme at the end. Oh, it's so short I can't like fast forward. Commercial. No, Return of the Mac's gonna get us flagged. Hold on. Okay, here it is. Ready? So suddenly a picture of Carlton from Fresh Prince pops up, and it says, "Have a nice day." Let's see. Here's a weird, goofy thing. We'll play this now before all the other ones start to grate on our nerves, because the point of this one is to grate on your nerves. This is called the Top Socks Remix. Hold on. They keep playing right away. This is Top Socks on SoundCloud, and this is their remix, their 44-second version of the song made from the actual studio track.
I just wasted 10 seconds of your life.
That's not your phone. That's not your speakers. That's the mix. And it goes on for another 20 seconds. This is just some dank
I love vaporwave, but man, that's starting to grate on me. I love it when I play Floral Shop, because I have it on vinyl, and Danny's always like, is something wrong with the record? Is the record skipping? I'm like, no, it just sounds like this.
Right. So then I found this little like podcast. I mean, I don't know if their episodes are normally this short, but this is Mary Dean Music. Mary spelled Meri, Dean Music.
Is it a 10-second podcast? Because that is brilliant, revolutionary, innovative.
No, this is a 48-second podcast, and from what I can gather, I think she has a podcast. I don't know if it's on. I didn't look if it's on like podcatcher apps, but I saw that this same thing was on SoundCloud, and it's here on YouTube. And she just gives a short little explanation about why she covered this song, and I think she does this for multiple songs. So here is Mary Dean's explanation of why she's doing this song, and then her cover.
Today is Monday, August 13, 2018.
Mary Dean's Song of the Week.
About 10 years ago, my oldest son came up to me and said, Mom, I have a song I want you to hear. You have to listen to the song. And he handed me his MP3 player and earbuds and played this for me. I just wasted 10 seconds of your life. Crayons Can Melt on Us for All I Care was released on the album 7 years ago by Relient K in 2007.
Wait, so he brought her this cover that she did?
No.
Like, the way that was just so confusing.
Yeah, she's like, he brought me this song.
And
Mom, I'm here from the future, and you recorded. No, he brought her the real version of the song, and now she's reminiscing about the time she bonded with her son over Relient K, and now she's going to record a cover of it on accordion. It sounds like, or some sort of accordion-like instrument. I didn't note that before, that it's like an accordion cover of Crayons Can Melt on Us. So that's fun. This is where I think I was the first viewer.
There's only 8 seconds left, and you stopped it.
Let's hear the last 8 seconds.
Please join us for next week's Mary Dean Song of the Week, where the only promise that we make is that it will be completely different.
Okay.
Yeah, don't expect her to be making a bunch of promises, Jessica. I think I might have been the first or second person to ever view that YouTube video.
Nice.
I mean, maybe if this is a podcast, she has, because like our YouTube video uploads of the podcast only get like 1 view if we're lucky, but we get way more on proper things. Somebody once commented on our YouTube channel. It's like we said something that week about how like people are like, oh, we're getting a lot of interaction with the show. Thanks so much for people reaching out. This is like, probably 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. And then some like smartass on YouTube was like, well, I'm writing to you and I'm the only one who's watched this, so you got 100% interaction. It's like the YouTube video is just there. Like, most people listen on podcasts, catchers and stuff. So anyway, so there's so many covers. I actually like there were so many like dudes with a guitar doing like one dude with a guitar that I just put them all in their own little chunk. And I'm not really sure if any of them were particularly worth listening to. But here's what I called, there's 2 cursed vocal covers.
Nice.
So let's hear one of those and see one of those. So this one starts with a blue background with white font that says, okay, this song is from Relient K. And oddly enough, it's called Crayons Can Melt on Us for All I Care.
Oddly enough.
Weird. So this is uploaded by Pirate Finnetic. Not Fanatic, but Fin, Fin, Attic.
I just wasted 10 seconds of your life.
It's so weird because it's like a really it's a really low res video where she's holding this camera and you can hear her family like chattering in the background, and the ceiling fan is behind her head in the shot, so it looks like there's just this weird ever rotating halo around her head. And then there's an extra 20 seconds of nothing.
Well, they wanted to waste more than 10 seconds of your life.
Those jerks want to waste my life. I waste my life perfectly fine without you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about the title and the fact that it has nothing to do with the song, but I was kind of like, it just felt Relient K to me, and I never really questioned it.
I started to talk about that when we got into song meanings, but then I forgot to keep pursuing it. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I started to get into that because I was.
We should really not wait and record at the last minute anymore when we're tired.
Sure, we should.
Oh wow! Well,
okay. So this guy looks like Elton John. This was uploaded 9 years ago by Just Another Boy Band, but it's a joke it's a joke channel. It's not real. It's just called Relient K. Crayons Can Melt on Us for All I Care. It It says, just a little something to hold you over till Keshapalooza. No copyright intended. A music video by Just Another Boy Band. Song originally by Relient K. So then there's this guy in a buttoned up jean jacket who wearing
looks like
the Elton John glasses.
He looks like an extra from Revenge of the Nerds.
I guess so. And he's just standing at a keyboard with a drum set in the back that no one's going to play. And he's going to lip sync to the song, but then he's going to do his actual cover.
Oh, it's a child.
Oh, I don't think so. You'll hear him talking in a second.
Oh.
It may be a teenager. But he did a horrible job pretending to play the piano. But now let's hear him actually play the piano.
I just wasted 10 seconds of your life!
Do it again.
I just wasted 10 seconds of your life!
I'm genuinely
he's
into
playing
this.
Linkin
A+
Park
content.
He's playing Linkin Park.
A+ content.
If they're just another boy band, you could say that about Linkin Park. It's amazing, like, that Matt Thiessen's melodies are just so beautiful that, like, no matter who plays them, it just comes right through.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
I completely agree.
Yeah, a lot of covers, just a bunch of different covers. I don't remember what this is, but it's called Weird Opening to Odd Cover. So let's check this out, and then we'll move on.
Nice.
This is by Hello Helicopter, and yet it's uploaded by Dogs and Onions Rock. See, Dogs and Onions Rock CH. But the band, they call themselves Hello Helicopter.
Nice.
Dogs and Onions Rock TV.
It says, when you heard that bizarre sound, it said Dogs and Onions Rock TV.
It sounds like People Mover.
It does.
I just wasted 10 seconds of your life.
I think his voice had an accent.
Right on.
But it's still another cursed image because it's just like his chest. It's like his what do you call this? Solar plexus. And like just the top half of his fretboard, basically.
Right.
Not really, but basically it's just like really zoomed in.
And it's black and white.
It's like gray and black. I guess that's it for covers. All the other covers, I think they either are really bad, bizarre, out of tune, lots of background ambient noise, or really good. So go check them out. Then we'll just check out some fan stuff. Here is a drum cover. Normally we don't play the drum covers, but I think this one's worth checking out. So
more A+ content.
That was really good. That was
great.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
And I found that late in the search process, so I was like really worn out by like the same videos over and over.
So the guy just sits there the whole time behind his drum set, and then he like when the song ends, he just kind of looks around and then like shrugs, puts his drumsticks down, stands up, and walks out of frame.
Yeah, that's classic. That's really good. Here's a guy who is literally hugging a tree to the song, and then he runs off.
I like a sweet Batman shirt in that car in the background.
And then he shows up and he kicks the tree, and then he walks towards us, and he grabs the camera and turns it off. And he looks
this kid looks and acts like you and your friend Johnny had a child.
You, Jessica, what does that note say?
Cross between Johnny and me.
You son of a gun. You son of a gun. I was not that like anyone listening cares or has ever even heard from Johnny, but this guy looks like me and my best friend from high school had a child, and then you son of a gun, you stole it from me. I should have said it first.
I'm sorry.
Oh, wow. That's just what you get for 10 years of wonderful marriage. We just think the same. That and that guy just looked exactly like me and my friend Johnny had a child. I won't make you watch this. Oh, I didn't say who that was uploaded by. Hold on. So people can go see what I used to look like. That's by Aaron Hoyt. Aaron Hoyt. I won't make us watch this because you'll hate it. But someone made a little short film. Oh, no, you'll understand why you'd hate it.
Okay.
It's uploaded by Rockstar351311, and it's just called Crayons Can Melt on Us for All I Care. Uploaded 11 years ago. It's a 1.5 minute film, little short video film, where this kid walks through the woods. He just kind of walks through the woods, right? So, 1 minute and 20 seconds of this thing has nothing to do with the song. He makes his way through the woods. He's climbing over rocks. He's going around
partner.
trees. Yeah, he does kind of look like the Thanks Partner kid. Then he gets into this tent, and then the song starts playing as you watch him clip his toenails.
Oh!
And that's revenge. Feel that revenge for stealing the note that I had from the last video. But like up close and stuff, like it's real Lynchian.
It sounds really lynchy. It actually is like, it's a great concept. I'm kind of jealous of the concept, to be perfectly honest, but like I really don't want to see.
It's so funny. You watch him walk through the woods for a minute.
That's amazing.
And then he gets in a tent and like, is he clipping his toenails because he's ashamed and he has to clip them out in the middle of the woods?
That is art.
This video is uploaded by The Tak Productions, TAK Productions, and it's called Crayons Can Melt on Us for All I Care, but that's not what happens in the song. Instead, it's the song Still Fly by The Devil Wears Prada.
I thought you were saying that that's not what happens in the song, and I'm like, well, technically, that's not what happens in the Relient K song either.
Well, you're correct, but that's not the song.
Gotcha.
This is three, like, friends. No, 5 friends. This is like 4. There's 4. I can't count. 4 like mid-2000s teen girls who are friends.
Yep.
And they're going to lip sync to this Devil Wears Prada song called Still Fly. And it reminded me of that video I uploaded to YouTube where we were at RevGen, one of the same festivals where we saw Relient K. And I just filmed you. Like, we were way back from Devil Wears Prada up on the stage, and I just look at the stage with my camera, then I look at you, and you just start banging your head, like, ironically. Yeah. And I uploaded that to YouTube, and that's one of my first YouTube videos.
It was called Jessica Dances to the Devil Wears Prada.
Right. So it's just these, like... I mean, the Devil Wears Prada, you know, is a hardcore band. There's nothing... They're all very preppy dressed, and they're
they're a little emo-y. They've got the scarves and stuff. It looks like they're, like, more preppy, but they tried to be, like, more, like, what 2005 considered emo.
Right. They're just jumping up and down and lip syncing to the song. It's funny, but it's called. I wonder if they like had also made a Crayons Can Melt on Us for All I Care music video, and they mislabeled the other. But I didn't go looking into their channel. There's an ASL video. Short. She plays ASL. This is so I was saying before. This is real stop motion. Somebody made this little video. Where they made a stick figure man animation on the same sheet of paper over and over. So they kept like erasing, and
that's really clever.
They drew a stick man and then another stick man and then a rocket ship and they get in the rocket ship and it takes off. But instead of using a bunch of pieces of paper, they use the same paper over and over, and they keep photographing the same piece of paper. So that was cute.
It was super cute, except at one point it looks like when they're drawing the second stick figure, like the second stick figure is being drawn inside of a penis.
Yes, I did have that note. I won't be as mad that you stole this note as my other note, but my one note was...
I was thinking maybe they...
looks like a penis.
Yeah, I think they probably tried to draw the rocket ship in that spot, realized what it looked like, erased it, and then put the guy next to it, and they're like, it's fine, nobody will be able to tell.
None of my Christian friends will know. I'm the only one who knows what a penis looks like. Then there's this. So I'll describe it since you've lost your mind.
This
Basically,
is my most favorite thing I've ever seen.
You have a very like a drawing of a squirrel, but the head has been replaced with the head of a human. And then this squirrel person, and the feet are very, very badly drawn. Like they don't know how to draw squirrel feet. They're just these weird, like hellish squiggles. Like they gave up trying to figure out how do you draw squirrel feet. It's like almost like spikes for legs. And they're just standing there, and then the whole background just kind of like rotates between. Yeah, they gave the head of the person buck teeth, and then it just rotates between all the colors of the rainbow. It just kind of like gradually progresses, and then it gets all wavy, and then on that last chord, that last piano strike, it cuts to a real photo of their friends. That was uploaded by Liza Precious, Liza Precious.
We've been going for almost an hour and 20 minutes.
And we have our interview.
And we have a guest for a 10-second song.
So there's lots of little dancing, lots of other weird little people running around in the background, and a Pokemon music video. Somebody took real Relient K music videos, and they like effectively took moments of Matt Thiessen lip syncing other songs and made it look like he was actually lip syncing this song. That was pretty good. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. There's some youth group called the Cross Trainers. Get it? Cross Trainers.
I get it.
They made a little music video uploaded by Sam Bradley 10 years ago, where it's all of them in their little basement youth group center. There's like a foosball table and some couches and
good clean fun
and a Pepsi machine, and the song starts playing and they all start looking up like, is that you, God? And then the song ends and they all just shrug and they just go back to what they were doing. So I guess the song just played out of nowhere. Or are they commenting about how when they play foosball at church they're wasting their life? So as we go into this interview, you remember playing foosball at church is a waste of time. And that is that. So we're going to go to our guest, but real quick, I guess this isn't the end of the episode, but Jess, how do you feel about the song now? Do you like it the same, better, or worse than when we first started the podcast?
The same.
The same. I feel the same way. So, so let's get into the interview with our guest, unless you have any final thoughts.
My final thought is we just wasted an hour and 20 minutes of your life. Good luck getting that back.
So, joined today, and I'm not good at this because we don't have a lot of guests on the podcast, but from Jimmy Eat Pod, not Jimmy Eat World, is David Parke.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good.
So I mentioned it before, but you guys, like a lot of other podcasts, you picked a name for your podcast that sort of makes it easy to find. Probably you use a portion of the band's name, right? And it makes it very clear to people. Whereas we have Sadie Hawkins Pod, and people be like, "What is that? A gender politics podcast?"
And in some ways, it is.
Yeah.
Well, only your Patreon is a gender politics podcast because of the
book that we're going through. Yeah. So how you doing?
We're surviving COVID and the fires here in California. We live not too far away from each other, so I imagine you guys are doing pretty just as okay. Yeah, exactly. I have a shirt for you as well. I have a Sadie Hawkins Pod shirt. That's right. I won the size contest.
That's right. I don't know if we announced it on the podcast, but a couple weeks back, I accidentally ordered an extra shirt for ourselves. And I was like, whoever's a double XL, hit us up on the DMs and claim the shirt. And you were the first to get back. Brady was the second. Brady missed out, but Brady was getting it as a gift for someone else.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
You have lots of shirts out there in the wild. I feel like only Justin and I have Jimmy E. Pod shirts.
where do you sell Jimmy Eat Pod shirts?
So yeah, it is a link that we only put out on Patreon because while we got the okay from the guy that designed the original headphone merch, he doesn't own the art anymore. And I keep not hearing back from anybody at Kings Road who the Blink's old merch guy said, yeah, I'm pretty sure Kings Road handles all their merch, but he didn't know any contacts over there. So we just, in order to keep it kind of safe, we haven't put the link out publicly because we didn't design our own shirts.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was very cautious of that when we were doing our own merch for the first time. I was like, anything I do has to be really transformed because we're using the ghost, which is, who know, like that's from the cover of an album, of an EP. But I was like, but I redrew it. So I'm like, maybe that's borderline. That should count. I've definitely seen like official band merch by actual bands that are like, clearly they use cartoons or, logos or something that they don't have the rights to, but they just they've redrawn it with their band. I mean, I'm wearing a Relient K shirt right now that is that's
a LaCroix.
The LaCroix shirt that says Relient K.
That's cool.
So like, yeah. So I was like, hopefully this is transformative enough. Like I'm even, like our catchphrase from early in the podcast was anytime we get a fact wrong for me to say, we are Relient K fans, by the way.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah. And so David Ketch, the other David that is always interacting with the show, he said, like, you guys should make that a shirt. And I was like, yeah, I should. But then when I sat down to think about it, I'm like, but it has the words Relient K in there, And
what you do is you put the little registered R.
Yeah. Right. So, yeah, we had you on this episode for Crayons Can Melt on Us for All I Can. We haven't done the main episode yet.
Right.
But you recorded our outro song.
Yeah.
I
a long time ago. Over a year ago now, I feel like.
Yeah, it was. It's been over a year. I think I announced our 1 year anniversary when it was actually like 56 weeks because I forgot we did a double episode week one time. But yeah, you recorded that cover for us like a year ago because we had this idea of ending every episode where we say we just wasted, and then we sing that how long the podcast was, and then of your life. In 2020, we've gotten really, really lazy on that, and now we're just airing because you did two versions for us. You did the punk version, and you did like the classic piano, like straight up cover. And you also did a 20-second version that's like
that was the first one I did because I think I don't remember what I did. I think I listened to the song and then I learned the chords and then I never listened to the song again. So I just recorded it. I was like, oh, it's X amount of bars. And it was like twice as long as it needed to be. So
it was exactly 20 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I cut the BPM in half and re-recorded all the parts. And then it was perfect.
I've still used that 20-second version for like when we need a bed track for some things and stuff like that.
What's the bed track for your commercial? That's a cool track.
Commercial?
Yeah.
That is it the Piano Dreamers? I think it's the Piano Dreamers
tribute the album. Cover artists. Yeah.
Yeah, for Candlelight, for the song Candlelight.
I wish we had more of that for Jimmy Eat World. Like, we definitely have like the normal people we come across, but no one that like I feel like we haven't done a lot of Sparrow Sleep's covers or songs that have covers yet.
Right.
Yeah, we don't come across any of those cool things. We just get a lot of Megan Galding and
Right. Is that the fake person on your side?
Yeah. Well, Megan Galding has been coming up a lot lately, but what's the other name? It's always the same names that you guys come across.
Signe Blanford.
I don't think we've run across her yet.
Okay, and ours is Lakeisha Kruger.
Oh, and we haven't run across Letitia. So yeah, I guess the other one is the one we see the most. It's like two accounts, and one of them has the intro music, and one of them doesn't. So
okay, yeah. So I don't know my theory on that because this is that's a common theme for both our shows, and I haven't really said this, but you host Jimmy. I said you host Jimmy Eat Pod, but you do the Jimmy Eat World song by song podcast, and we both come across these like songs that are labeled as covers. But then they're not. They're like
lyric videos.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Yeah, they're lyric videos. They're labeled as lyric videos, and they actually have the lyrics of the song that it says it's supposed to be. But then it's some other like Pond 5 stock music, like bed track music, and it's happened for both of us. So my working theory is, whatever it's obviously some sort of weird copy pasta scam thing. Like it's some sort of bot probably generated all these videos. But the only working theory I have is like somebody wanted that stock library on YouTube.
Right.
But they didn't want to label them by the actual track names because maybe that would like help people find that stock music too easily and rip it, if they were looking for the real stock music.
I want to find something that sounds like Relient K, and it's never.
Like, I'm wondering if somewhere someone has a spreadsheet of like these stock songs. If you ever need them, you can rip them off YouTube. It's labeled as this fake Relient K song and this fake. Because it's not just our band. It's like I looked at Lakeisha Kruger and it's like REO Speedwagon and like Stein, like because it's all our.
Yeah, why write your own catalog numbers when you can just use band names and songs as your catalog numbers?
Yeah, that's the only reason I can. That might not. That probably isn't even it.
Yeah,
but they don't make money off of it. They're not like.
We should run. So weird. We should run Shazam on one of the tracks when it plays and see what comes up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Justin had this idea because on our show, what we do is we run text to speech, and we have a robot speak the lyrics along with the instrumental that comes up. And then Justin had an idea of trying to throw it into a vocoder and have it sound like the robot voice is singing in key with the song, but there's too many steps to get it to work. One of these days we'll do it.
Yeah. But yeah, when you guys do that, I always think we should start doing that, but that would just be a direct rip off of you guys.
Oh, you're allowed. It's a cover of a lyric video cover. Oh man.
So I was gonna ask, like, so it was, I guess, just so people know how we met. We met because of Blink-155. Like, we both live in Los Angeles, and we were both listening to that podcast, and then we met up with other people who listen to that podcast in Los Angeles. And you were telling me at the time about you were working on a Jimmy Eat World podcast, and it hadn't happened yet. And then Jessica and I hadn't even thought of doing a Relient K podcast, but then one day before you started your Jimmy Eat World podcast, you were like, Jessica and I said, let's do a Relient K podcast. And then within the month we had it done.
Yeah, you guys were up and running. I think it really kicked Justin and I into gear because we were like, it was like a school project thing where you talk about how cool it would be if, but you never actually do that thing. And then you guys did it. We're like, fuck, we should probably do it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, that's fine. So then I was like, so we were thinking we wanted to do this thing where it's like a parody every week of Crayons Can Melt on Us. And I was like, who do we know that can record that? And I thought of you because you had recorded covers, and we did like I produced a track that you put up on the Free Punk Lyrics.
That's right.
Comp and all that stuff. So I knew you'd be able to do it, and you were able to, and you got it recorded pretty quickly. There's 2 punk versions. I guess we'll talk about this because we're going to talk about your versions, like in the cover section.
Oh, cool.
We haven't done it yet, but you gave us the 20-second piano version, the proper 10-second piano version, the punk version, and then a punk version with more guitar slides.
You remember? Were we like really into like pick slides at the time? Like
pick slides. That's right. No, yeah, I don't know. I think it was like you gave me the punk version. You were like, hold on, I'm going to send you one more version. I'm going to update that punk version. And sometimes I pick the extra pick slide version and sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
Like I just go back and forth between the 3 versions that are usable for every episode. And so like people who maybe have more discerning ears can tell which is the pick slide.
Yeah. I always wonder like for the softer songs, if you use the piano one and then the more punky version, the punky
That is
songs.
pretty much what I do. Yeah. Yeah. And then like it's sometimes like with the Christmas ones, I just added like just sleigh bells that weren't particularly in tune or on beat. They were just in the background. Yeah. And I think, what was it? There was some song I did where I messed with the bad auto-tune, like whatever you would call auto-tuning badly on purpose. Like I made it sound really bad. And I don't remember why I did that. Was it a song that was off key? I don't remember. Do you remember this, Jess? Jessica's over there on her phone. Somebody must remember. I don't remember anymore. There was an episode where I took David's outro music and I purposely put it in gold wave and messed with made the maybe I don't remember anymore. Oh well. So yeah, so I try to do stuff like that when it fits the theme of the episode we just did, but yeah, I only have limited audio talent, so there's only so much I can do.
We edit our show. Well, actually, no. Justin edits our show in Adobe Audition, but every time I take over, I just cut it in Premiere because I can do it really quickly.
Right.
Because I don't know audio programs.
Yeah, I have this same audio program that I've had since Windows 95 or 98 called Goldwave, and it's continued to be supported to this day. It's kind of got that, like, it's what I'm recording in right now as well.
Wow.
And it's got this like
because he's a lame PC user.
Yeah, but it's still up today, and it's not even like fully non-linear. It's like a single track. But there are like updates and like, proper things that people need nowadays. It's just like it's still kind of pretty old school, so
that's cool. It's like the Winamp version of an audio recorder.
Exactly. It is a lot like Winamp. Like I definitely used Goldwave at the same time I was using Winamp.
Oh, that's tight. Did you use a special skin for Winamp, or did you just go standard?
Yeah, I don't remember any Winamp skins that I have. I definitely had some. I think I had a Star Trek one at one point.
Whoa.
Even though I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan, but I like just the aesthetic looks cool as a Winamp skin, and I'm enough of a Star Trek fan. But I remember one time, now that you mention it, my mom was using the computer because it's like the family computer. And she saw something, and she liked Lord of the Rings, right? And she saw something like, get this Lord of the Rings thing for your desktop. And she clicked it, and she's like, oh, I don't understand what this is. So she uninstalled it. What it was a Winamp skin.
Oh.
And so she uninstalled Winamp from the computer, which I used all the time. So one day I start Winamp, and strangely, the way she uninstalled it was like she uninstalled the main program, but like these sidebars still popped up. So like these like controls for different volume and stuff were still there.
Your
but the
EQ is there, but no.
Yeah, but the core program was gone, and I'm like, what happened? And I like go to my mom, and she's like, oh, I just uninstalled the Lord of the Rings thing, and I didn't. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's not even like, yeah. I mean, that was like 20 years ago, and it's forget it now with like parents and iOS and Netflix and smart TVs.
Oh man,
it started right then. Yeah. So I was going to ask you. So do you have any insight about when you recorded those versions aside from you started talking about it with the chords and everything?
Yeah, I think I played it on the way into work, and then I was really on this roll of like recording music at my desk, and I was really kind of figuring Logic out, and I figured a really good workflow out while I would work. I could set it to loop a measure. So it would be like either a measure or a full phrase. Like, I don't know a bunch of music terminology either. I just kind of know where to put my hands. So I was like, okay, the 4 chords fit within this amount of time, and I'll loop that at this time signature. And my first note is this, so I'm going to say that the song is in this key. And so what I'll do is I'll go and set that loop with a click or a fake drum track underneath it to follow along. And I'll record that one little bit of 4 chords maybe 20 times. So I'll have 20 takes of that one thing. The way it does is it'll take the first take and just move it down and move it down and move it down. And while it's looping, it's every version that I play is a take. And I can choose the best one and make that sound the best. And then I'll walk away and go do 9 other things at work. And then, I'm about to have lunch. I'll record the next little bit. And your song is so short, I think it's only one progression. So I just recorded that a bunch of times. And so when I came back, I did the bass part. And then I did the piano part. And then I did, let me add a second guitar harmony part. And then I'll put some pick slides on it as another layer. And then by the end of the day, I had the whole song done. So,
cool.
And since it was instrumental, I didn't have to record any vocals for it. Because usually since I do everything here at work, I'll do vocals after everybody goes home so that nobody can hear me. And
right.
I remember one time I did it, and like even right now I'm in this voiceover booth that none of your listeners can see, but like there's this double pane glass and this soundproof door, and then there's a door out to the hallway beyond that in that other room. Well, I left the Pro Tools on. So the speakers were like super, super loud. So all the editors, when I was done, they were like, oh yeah, no, we heard you. It was cool. So I get super self-conscious when I have to record vocals here. But your song, I'm trying to think if I did it all in one day or if I didn't realize till the end of the day that it was too slow and then I just did it the next day. But that was back in the day when I would come to work every day and full days and it felt like, especially if I had only one song to do that day, it was a fun little challenge, especially because like I'm not all that familiar with Relient K, but I love the chord progressions that Matt puts together. So I found it fun to figure out how to play some of those chords. Like he's got like, I don't know if it's a diminished or a minor. I feel like you have a listener that knows all that stuff.
Right.
But this song has one of those that he does all the time. So I really enjoyed figuring out that progression because it's not really my style of playing. And I thought it came out really cool.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, and like I said, we've gotten super lazy in 2020. We've been getting I've been posting podcasts up to like the hour before midnight when I like to have it out. And then there's been obviously, I mean, I stand by, you know, it's only been less than 3 times maybe in the year where the episode actually came out a day late. Yeah. So it's like we recorded it Tuesday night and I'm like, I'm not editing this and putting it up right away. And then we took those 2 weeks off to try to catch up. And we did a little bit, but not nearly by as much as we wanted. So the last thing to happen is us recording the vocals every week. And we thought eventually we'd have a nice library of like, you know, we've already, as we do podcasts that are the same length as previous ones, we could just reuse those same vocals. And we have done that once or twice, but it just hasn't happened enough to actually like work out that way. So we've gotten lazy, but it's still, your cover is good enough. And I think Relient K, it's great enough. Your cover is amazing.
Oh, thanks.
And it's
it's recognized around the world.
Yeah, but the tune should be recognizable to any Relient K fan, so that hopefully the irony of saying, you know, we just wasted your life, they'll know the lyrics. So even if they don't hear us singing it, they'll still know like the joke that ends every episode. So I wanted to ask you, like you said it as well, and I actually already kind of know this because we've been talking about it in DM over the last year, but you're not super familiar with Relient K, but how, like, had you ever listened to them before? Or
I love Be My Escape. I like that song a lot. And it was just a band. I honestly think I mixed them up with Something Corporate. Like, I think they were around at that same time. And I was way too cool and punk for Something Corporate. So because I'd written off Something Corporate, I'd written off Relient K. So I never really, like, beyond Be My Escape, which I liked privately, but would never admit it publicly. Something Corporate and Relient K went by the wayside. Then when I fell in love with Andrew McMahon, I just never thought of Be My Escape again. And then I think when you had mentioned Relient K a couple times, I was like, oh, what band was that? And then I was like, oh, Be My Escape. I love that song. Really beyond that, I hadn't heard any of their stuff.
Okay. I mean, the thing is, I didn't listen to Something Corporate either. And that's for pretty much the same reason. Like, I didn't like... There were mall punk bands you could call like mall punk or hot topic punk or like two pop punk or whatever that I wouldn't like for those reasons. Like, this is a punk band for my sister. This isn't a punk band for me, you know? And Something Corporate. So I did, and like some of them I think I did that unfairly, and some of them I probably maybe did fairly. But I didn't like Something Corporate for sort of the same reason. And then I always would put Something Corporate and the starting line together in my head.
I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't discover the starting line until a couple years ago, and it was so fun to discover like a very 2003 pop punk record for the first time in like 2016, and I was like it was like blowing my mind how good it was. So I just like, but since, and maybe if I had found Relient K late, I could have been on that same thing. Basically, like, I'm trying to think of any other bands that would be like Something Corporate or Relient K or Starting Line where I shouldn't have given them a fair chance, but I did, because there are definitely bands like that. I mean, Blink-182 is just like the biggest band in that sort of thing. But then again, I was listening to them from Cheshire Cat, so it's like, and I was gonna say the same thing about Relient K is like, since I was listening to them from their first album, and there's like that barrier of, you know, getting it from Christian bookstores, and it was more pop rock than pop punk and stuff. Like, I just kind of liked it. It was a little dirtier production. Like, I liked it. So I was with them all the way up until they were suddenly, you know, being sold as this like pop punk group. This was later, but I can't remember the name. So Much Love in You was the big song. It was also a piano pop, like power pop song.
Okay.
And I feel like that guy is like super Christian too. So I wondered if that was a band that you had gotten into. I can't think of the name right now. Everybody's probably going nuts. My buddy Brandon produced the video, and that was how I became familiar with them. But it's a really cool video. Like all these like, I feel like acrobats and musicians and stuff are crawling out of this guy's piano. He's definitely in the same loft space as as that Christian television show that you brought up a couple episodes ago. It's like the same loft space this music video was shot in.
The Revolution TV.
Yeah.
when I type in "So Much Loving You," there's so many songs by
So
that.
Much Love in You.
Oh, So Much Love in You.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
I got so much love in you. The Almost. Is it the Almost? Is that what it's called?
The Rocket Summer.
The Rocket Summer, yeah.
Yes.
I feel like that's like a Christian band.
Yes, they are. I saw them. I never. Did you own any Rocket Summer? Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I saw them live. I took Jessica to. She liked them more. I had just not checked them out. I wasn't against them or anything, but yeah, now that I figured that out, I just never knew any of their song titles. I think I saw them at Cornerstone, Florida, right? Yeah, we saw them at Cornerstone, Florida.
I think I saw like a 10 or 15 year anniversary show at the Roxy, and the guy in that band, I guess he just hires musicians. But this show, I think he did everything tracks, so it was just him on stage and like with like a MIDI switcher. It was a really cool show.
Okay, interesting.
Anyway, we were talking about bands.
I haven't thought about them in a while.
Scene,
yeah. Oh.
That was me. I set it to my phone went to low battery mode. That's okay.
Oh, okay. So, I think that was mainly all the stuff I wanted to ask you about. So you're doing Jimmy Eat Pod.
Yes.
I'm sort of wrapping up, but
yeah. What episode is this? This episode comes out this week, right?
Yeah, this will come out this Tuesday into Wednesday.
What episode do we have coming out this week? This week is Night Drive. And then next week we're going all the way back to one of their demos that we haven't done in a long time. And we discovered that it's actually not Jimmy Eat World, but it's enough of the members that we still count it. Right. And it's part of like the band's lore. So
right. Yeah. I think eventually we're going to do Matt Thiessen and the Earthquake songs like in the main show.
Nice.
As we start running out of songs, we'll start filling in, slowing down the.
Earthquakes was an offshoot band, though, right? That wasn't a before Relient K band, right?
That was like a concurrent with Relient K.
Right.
Like, from my understanding, and I kind of know this from when they were more accessible at shows, is he was writing so many songs that he created this side project called Matt Thiessen and Earthquakes, and it was around for years. It was around from when. Not that I don't know if this is the context you'd understand, but it was around from when Dave and Brian were in the band, like 2002 and maybe even earlier. And it was just like anything he was writing that he wanted to not do in Relient K, like do solo, he was making it an Earthquake song.
Yeah.
And then sometimes he'd write a song that was like so good or whatever, they'd be like, okay, this is a Relient K song.
Yeah.
But then it took him 20 years to actually release officially a full length Matt Thiessen and the Earthquakes. Like my understanding of Matt Thiessen and the Earthquakes in the early 2000s was it was maybe going to be something kind of like Pedro the Lion or something.
Yeah.
But in the end, it was like not like that at all. It's like, I don't even know what kind of music technically the final album is, but it's a lot more earthy, a lot more like not country, but sort of like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, Jimmy Eat World has, did any Earthquake songs ever become Relient K songs where they exist in both?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Jimmy Eat World, Jim Adkins did a thing called Go Big Casino for a while, which has now just become Jim Adkins. And there's definitely a few songs that became Jimmy Eat World songs. So sometimes we'll talk about them on the Jimmy Eat World episodes, and then we're doing Go Big Casino and side project stuff on the Patreon. So
right. And Mike Herrera, there's stuff in their discography that you can hear in MXPX, like because they had their like power pop, stripped down emo sort of band called Arthur. It was literally the members.
Right.
Yeah. It was like emo is kind of not really a fair assessment. I don't think they ever thought of it as emo, but it got marketed as emo. And it was like all the same members of the band of MXPX, but they were just like slower, like slightly chunkier songs. So they called it a different band. But then like as that band started to go away, you can hear those kind of songs in other MXPX albums. And then the same thing when Mike Herrera did an alt country band called Tumbledown, which is still technically, they're still not technically broken up. Like, Arthur, he said they're never going back to, but Tumbledown is still technically around. But then anytime you hear like an MXPX song with a slight like country twist, you're like, was this a Tumbledown song?
Like a shuffle in the drums and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so where can people check out your Jimmy World stuff? We're always talking about you on our show, and mentioned us on your show.
Us you. So we're Jimmy Pod everywhere. That was the one thing we jumped on was we were like, oh, we have a name, let's just get all the socials for it, and then And so, we're Jimmy Eat Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Mostly active on Instagram and Twitter. And JimmyEatPod.com.
Cool. Yeah, we have SadieHawkinsPod.com. I haven't done anything with it yet. And it's been a year. I need to renew it.
We were nerdy enough that our website, our podcast feed is inherent on the website existing. So really our website's just a landing page for the episodes to go up. Because we didn't go with like Libsyn or Podbean or anything like that. So
right, I know we did that, but we had a previous podcast which we talk about sometimes. But I did the whole DIY podcast RSS feed, and I'm like,
oh my god,
I am never doing that again.
Oh, that's what I told Justin too. I was like, hey, if you want to do this, I'm really sorry, but I don't want to do any of the web portion. And he's a teacher. That's what he actually teaches. So he had never done it before, but I remembered enough and said, oh, I think it's this, and I think it's this, and I think it's this. And he was off to the races. So it worked out well. And he was like, hey, I'm down not to have another monthly payment. So
right. Yeah. I was perfectly fine paying $15 a month or something like that to not have to do that work.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It would technically, it would be cheaper if I paid by the year, but I keep forgetting to do that. Anyway. All right.
Well, thank you for having me on. It was very exciting to be on.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just wasted an hour and 20 minutes of your life. Good luck getting that back.